Good morning, Hope Fiends. I'm Tim, and I'm an addict. This is Addiction and Recovery, and today I'm going to talk about relationships, more along the lines of like romantic relationships. I've never been, I've been in a lot of relationships. Obviously, I abused women just like I did drugs. I don't mean abused like I punched them. I mean I used them for for what I could get out of them, whether it be money, sex, just the thrill of the hunt. Believe it or not, I mean, the thrill of the hunt was a large part of it. But what brought this up is I talked to an ex of mine today. The one ex of mine that I still regret more than anything, because when we got together, I was clean, and so that was totally different getting together with someone when you're totally clean. But then I relapsed, and of course, when you relapse, you go right back to your old habits. You start secluding yourself, start isolating yourself. You're not there for your partner when you should be. I mean, a lot of people. I could have been a lot worse. I could have been abusive. I could have been, I could have called her names and hit her, but that doesn't take away from the fact that I still wasn't there when she needed me. So I'm lucky that, she's still supportive of me, still my friend. She doesn't have to be. I mean, uh, I'm very, very lucky. We are total opposites. I'm coming to terms with that now. I mean, I'm an atheist. She's a born and bred a Pentecostal. Her dad's a pastor, so that's a big, that's a pretty big issue to overcome. She has a son. I love him to death. I consider him my son. I've raised him since he was a baby. The father, once he found out she was pregnant, he just fucking skipped out on her, and so he doesn't know anybody as daddy besides me, which is good. I mean, I've never. Well, I mean, it's not necessarily good, but he's never. That man has never interfered in his life or tried to like impose himself after he decided to walk away from a lovely child that I don't know why anybody would walk away from a child like that. I just don't. I don't get it. That doesn't make any sense to me. But that's neither here nor there. But the reason I brought up relationships is because I went and talked to her, and I asked her. I said, so so what was it? What was the final straw? What was the final straw that made you, I mean, not want to be with me anymore, or stop loving me, or whatever you want to call it, and she said that I was just plain unreliable. She said that I wasn't there for her when I needed her emotionally. I made promises and I broke them constantly. And my atheism was a huge part of it, which is understandable. I mean, it really. I mean, an atheist and a hardcore Christian, they're obviously going to have some issues. So, but I never. I mean, this relationship was a little different, and I think that's the only reason that she's still friends with me. Because when I was in the program before, luckily I didn't. I did learn a lot of stuff. I did have almost a year clean. I had 11 months and 3 weeks. I've never had a year. Like I said last night, I picked up a 9 month chip. That's pretty fucking exciting. So hopefully I'll get that 1 year brass chip. I've never had one of them. I'm really looking forward to it. And a key tag. I'll probably hit NA for that too. A lot of you know that I do go to AA. And I want you to know this channel isn't AA or NA based. I may talk about a lot. I may talk about both of them a lot, but whatever your recovery method is, your recovery method. That's a moot point. The main point is to recover. That's really the main goal here is and if I can share my experience, strength, and hope with you so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did, then I feel like I may have done my job. And this is also cathartic for me because I get to talk out my feelings and talk to people who will actually understand them. Because a lot of people just don't understand how addicts think. Our brains are pretty fucking wonky. We definitely think differently than normal people like. But so if you're anything like me, I never was in relationships. I always took hostages. For a matter of fact, the first time I ever, I mean, this is kind of personal, but I'll tell you, just because it just goes to show you the pattern of an addict. I mean, I've acted like an addict my whole life. The first time I got laid, the girl had a boyfriend, and I didn't give a fuck either way. Like, I was literally doing the guy's drugs and wearing his fucking slippers. I mean, that's how little I cared. And now that I think back, I mean, I did apologize to the guy. I got a punch in the mouth for it, but I kind of deserved it. I was kind of fucking his old lady, but like I always, I was never, I was never emotionally mature enough, I don't think, to be in a relationship, and I think that's why this last one hurt so bad, because I was clean when I got in this relationship. I was clean for the first half of the relationship, first couple of years, and I had an accident at work. I went to the doctor. Um, they said, and it was something very, very serious. I don't want to talk about it right now. It's pretty embarrassing. Let's just say it was not in the most appropriate places of the most appropriate place in my body that I could be hurt. And for some reason, every nurse on duty that night was gorgeous. There wasn't an ugly Betty in sight, so you can guess what what part of my body was on view, if you care to guess. But anyway, the doctor's like, "Well, we have to give you something for pain." I said, "Well, you know, I'm a recovering opiate addict. I don't want any opiates, you know." And he gave me Toradol at first, and that didn't do nothing. And I was like, and he's like, "I'm gonna give you something for pain." He's like, "This is very, very serious." He's like, "You may have to have emergency surgery if I can't get, you know, it back in place in a natural way." And I'm like, "Well, I don't want any opiates." He's like, "Well, as a doctor," he's like, I I'm going to make, you know," he's like, you need to, you know," and like I talked it over with my girlfriend. She's like, "Well, you're going to meetings and stuff," and but you know what, I got, you know, I took so they gave me fentanyl, and I was fucking lit, man. I was happy as a fucking clam. I was in the getting like a sonogram or some shit, and I was joking about it, not a care in the world. And afterwards, I went out to eat. You know, I woke up next morning. I wasn't dope sick. I wasn't fiending. But within the week, my hand was hurting, and I thought back, hey, wait a minute. I had fentanyl the other day, and it didn't bother me a little. It didn't bother me a bit. Maybe I can, maybe a couple of Vicodins won't hurt me. Maybe I've got this addiction thing fucking beat. You know, well, I didn't have it beat. So I started taking a couple of pain pills. That couple of pain pills, by the next week, had turned into about 10 pain pills a week, and then by the next week, it was over and done with. I was swallowing pretty much anything I could get in my mouth. I did not ever go back to the needle. I'm grateful for that. I have been off the needle for over 6 years, so that is something to be proud of, I imagine. So, but if you're like I guess I'm kind of rambling today, but I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about relationships and how now that I've got a little bit of clean time and I've had time to think about things. Um, I've never really I've always ended up in relationships where I could control them very easily, or they were very codependent and I could get away with, you know, murder essentially, you know, and not have to worry about the consequences. So yeah, addicts take hostages. They don't have relationships, and I can honestly say that before I met my current ex girlfriend, who I love still to this day. I'm not going to stop loving her. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. She's the epitome of what a Christian should be. She's caring, she's loving, she's not judgmental, um, and I still love her, and I'm not afraid to admit that. Um, does it hurt sometimes? Yeah, it hurts sometimes. It does. It really does. But you know, I understand. She had to protect herself and her son, and dealing with an addict is not an easy thing to do. And I don't agree with all of the things that her son's indoctrinated with. So maybe it's for the best that we're not together. You know, I mean, we're still real good friends. I have a very good support system. I can always depend on her when I need her. So Please leave in the comment below if you understand what I'm talking about addicts taking hostages rather than having relationships, because that's what a lot of us do. Is we play head games with people. We try to play the victim. Like, if someone were to, if they try to break up with you, or they try to, call you out on something, you're always going to have an excuse. You're always going to play the victim. That's just the way it is. I mean, I don't care what program you're in. That's how addicts live. That's how addicts think. That's our go-to. If we think we're wrong in some way, we'll play the victim. So, yeah, I just wanted to touch on relationships a little bit today. I hope you can get something out of this video. I really enjoy making these videos for you people. Please like, share, and subscribe. I can't stream until I get 100 subs, so let's get me there, please. I'm not shilling this. It's not like a normal YouTube channel. I don't intend on making money off this. The only thing I want to do with this channel is reach as many addicts as I can, keep my mind focused on recovery, and maybe, if I'm lucky, save the life of another addict. So, I love you all, and have a wonderful day.